Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. So before starting the class, I have to say that I had mistakenly say something in the last discussion about the techniques, 4 techniques. So I had used the term Paccasannanaya instead of Paccasattinaya. So it should be corrected as Paccasattinaya, not Paccasannanaya. So Sayadaw Punyachari actually corrected it. So thank you, Sayadaw, for correcting it. So are there any questions from the previous discussion?
Yes, I have a question, Bhante.
Yes.
Yeah, in fact, it's also from that type of verse. It's about Vattaka. So my question is, how should we divide the word sama samatradinang again, Bhante?
Sama samatradinang, right?
Yes, Bhante.
This one. You can see the screen, right?
Yes.
Can
Bhante.
you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So sama samatradinang is the word, and it is actually a sandhi. Sama sama atra adinang. So that's there are 3 words. Sama sama is one, atra is the second one, adinang is the third one. So it's actually a combination. Sama sama atra adinang combination. So within that combination, sama sama is a compound, it is a samasa, and it's a dvanda samasa. So sama and asama, there are 2 nouns in that dvanda samasa. So we can just give the definition like samocha samocha sama sama, right?
Samocha asamocha sama sama, right, Bhante?
Yes.
Okay, so and then so that means that word is the subject of that kind of line.
Yes,
right,
that is
Bhante?
the subject.
And then the samaja, sangyuktaja. So those 2 are the complements, right, Bhante?
Sama is the subject. Sama is a complement,
and
sangyukta
is
also a complement. Yeah.
So
but actually the sangyuta is we can name it as a complement, but it behaves like the verb of the sentence, because you know the kitakas also can behave like verbs, like actions, because kriya or actions, there are 2 kinds, kitaka and akhyata. So the ending action or ending word of a sentence can be akhyata or kitaka. So here we can consider this as the ending of that sentence.
Right, but so that means if I write that sentence, in a clear way, then I should write as the sama atra ajinang samaja sangyukta ja honti, right, Bhante?
Yes. If you put a verb like that, honti or bhavanti, something like that, yes, that's correct. So you can consider both of them, both the words sama and sangyutta as complements. Yes.
Yes.
But if you do not put, without putting akhyata, without putting an akhyata as honti, you can just keep the sentence as this, because as I mentioned, a kitaka can also behave like an akhyata.
Yes. So the question is, what kind of word is adinang, Bhante?
Adinang means adi Adi is something which is the beginning, right? So here it is translated as preceding. So it's like beginning. If you consider the meaning of Adi as beginning, actually, as I can remember, there are many meanings of the word Adi in the dictionary, Vijitānandābhivaṃsa. So if you consider it as having the meaning of beginning, then we have to say that those verses, those two previous verses, are the beginning of this verse. They are at the beginning of this verse, before this verse. So we can translate it as preceding also.
So what case is it, Bhante? Is it in accusative case?
No, it's in the genitive case.
Genitive case.
Like
so, Bhante,
yes.
how can be genitive case like this? So in the Myanmar dictionary Ocean, it mentioned we have the word adina. It means 切勿刷撇多.
Adina.
Yes, adina. It means 切勿刷撇多.
Okay, it's Adina, right?
Yes.
At the end, N-A, right?
Yes.
In the Chatta Sangayana Tipitaka, there is a dictionary, so it's in it. Adina is translated as suffering. Adina. It is a synonym for Adinava. So that's the only meaning given in that dictionary. Have you met that word before, like Adina?
So Bhante, I already sent it to your Bible. Please check it.
Okay, sure. Yeah, there is a word Adina, and it is as Sally Punyachari said, it's given meaning as Shev Sabsiddho or something something which is at the beginning. So there is a word as Adina according to Hun Sing Pāḷi Myanmar dictionary. So but I haven't seen it anywhere in Pāļi or commentary. But there is one word Ādina Khattiya Kula. Ādina Khatti in phrase Ādina Khattiya Kula. But the meaning is not clear in that example also.
So according to the Myanmar translation of this Vuttodaya, then how is it translated, Bhante?
It's not translated as the preceding verses, like the beginning or preceding verses in of the preceding verses. That's how it is translated. Of the preceding verses. It's genitive case according to Myanmar.
It's genitive case.
Yes. What is the matter there if it is in genitive case?
I think if it's genitive case, it should be adina. Adina should be noun, you know.
Yeah, both are there, right? Both are there because you can keep it in short form and long form.
No, I don't think so, no.
That is not the long form?
Only long form, they don't have the short form, no? In the genitive case, plural.
But if it's in the accusative case, then what function is that? I mean, how should we understand that if it is in accusative case?
If it is in accusative case, how can we give the meaning, right? Is that your question?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's not just the translation, but the function, because in there we have the accusative, and I mean, all of them are nominative, and then that one is accusative. So what is that?
Bhante?
Yes.
Like how about if we take a Wilson, that one, adina, So because they have the D, right? 3 genders, can we take it as they like a neuter gender singular?
Neuter gender singular. Accusative case?
No, nominative case.
Nominative case. Okay, neuter gender singular. We can take like that. But then, when where
Everything
can we
is in
connect
the
that word?
plural. Yes, everything is in plural.
Yeah, if it is plural, then there cannot be adinang, right? In accusative case,
Right, Bante? Yes.
it's adayo. If it is masculine gender. In neuter gender also it's adini, not adinang in accusative case. So why should we consider that as accusative case? Why can't it be genitive case?
Yeah, it can. Yeah, it can. Of course, it can. But that's my question. I'm not sure what case it is.
It is genitive case because actually, Sayale Punyachari, could you please check it again in now or later in a grammar book, because there can be short form and long form, because the original word is adi, right? Short adi. So we can lengthen the e when the case when chatti vibhati or genitive case is with it. So then adi nang is also there, but still adi nang also can be there. Like in the in locative case also adisu and adisu, locative case plural, both can be there. Like aggi, fire. So they are also aggi, agginang, agginang. Aggisu, aggisu, as I can remember. Both can be there.
So, but what I learned is only long E, no short in the
Long.
genitive. Yeah, no short in the genitive case.
No short in the genitive case. Give me a second. You can check the Rupa Siddhi. In Rupa Siddhi, there are both forms. Agginang, agginang. Because here Adi is same with Aggi. Adi is same with Aggi. So because it ends in short E. So in Rupa Siddhi, Aggi is the word shown under Ikaranta or words ending with E. So in it, the declension is given as, in genitive case, the declension is given as Aggino, Aggissa in singular, and in plural, Agginang, Agginang. Both are there. And in locative case also, in singular, Aggimhi, Aggisming, and in plural, Aggisu, Aggisu. Both can be there.
So Bante, this type of explanation only according to traditional grammar?
Which one?
I mean, like you see the short e in the genitive case.
Yes, according to traditional grammar, it can be there. Short and long, both forms.
Because like in the modern grammar, I only see short one is like in the accusative case. For example, like a Gaiga's Pāļi grammar mentions like in the accusative singular, we have the bhikkhu-nang, and also it possible also have the aki-nang.
Accusative singular, genitive singular, right?
No, accusative singular.
In accusative singular, bhikkhu-nang is there.
Yes.
In accusative singular, bhikkhu, right?
Yes, bhikkhu-nang. And in the Sutta Nipada 87, we have the Adija Bandunang. So
Yeah,
through
Aditya
that
Bandunang.
analogy, yeah, we also can have the analogy to the Akinang also.
Agginang. Yeah, but they are rare cases, right? Like
Yes, I
having
think
accused.
that
Yes.
maybe those sense only apply in the gathas.
Yes, those are only applied in the gathas, and they are also mentioned in traditional grammar texts. But actually, in those cases, in those places, the grammar texts also mention that these are rare ones, and these are only done in the exceptional places. So in declension, we do not usually include those rare forms, right?
Okay. But Bani, how about we take the sama and the asama as the samaharadanda?
Sama as the samahara dvanda, then it will
Yes.
be end as it will be like samang, right?
Yes.
Yes, because it's in the neuter gender.
Yes.
Yes. Then samang adinang are then we imagine that we suggest that samang and adinang are in the same gender and same case, accusative case, right? Is that the way we are going to
Nominative case.
Oh, sorry,
then
nominative
we
case.
have sama and sayukta, so they are complements.
Yeah, sama and sangyuta are there, so they are in plural, and yeah, they are in plural. So how can we then connect sama, samang, and adinang at them, sama and sangyuta, because then they are in different cases, right?
Yes.
So this is like this. If we according to tradition, adinang can be there. Adinang can be there. Actually, I have no idea about how modern grammarians explain this. How they what is their idea? According to traditional grammar, adinang and adinang both can be there under genitive case. So if we consider, and also in the verses, you can shorten the long vowels sometimes. So in that sense also we can consider that there can be the form of genitive case as adinang. I mean, there can be this form as adinang. So then we consider this as genitive plural, adinang, adinang as genitive plural. Okay, and then we can give the meaning as of the previous verses. Adinang like adinang silokanang, adinang vuttanang, adinang gathanang, of the previous verses, of the preceding verses, adinang, and then we connect that adinang at sama, adinang sama of the previous verses, the samapada and the visamapada. Like to mention it clearly, the samapada and the visamapada of the previous verses are sama, same, and sangyuta joined together here. So then, like here in the Pavattaka verse, the samapada and the visamapada of the previous verses are joined together. So then what is the problem one can raise?
Hi, Bante. So if you say it that way, then you take the sama of the previous verses. So here the word sama refers to the even line and odd lines of the previous verses.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes, of the previous verses, right?
So shouldn't we say something like the even verse, the even line and the odd line here are the same as those of the previous verses?
No, that's not how it is explained. It's explained as of the previous verses. No, sorry, the even line and odd line of the previous verses are joined together here,
Bante,
like equally joined together. Yeah.
Bante, I checked in the Pāḍi CD. We have the Akinam in chantive case plural.
Yes.
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 In Sutta 149, 149. Yes, we can check.
It is. Yes.
Yes, we have the Akinam in the chantive case.
Yes, we have agginang in the genitive case, and we have the short form also, right? Agginang, agginang.
Akinam. We have the short and long. Both.
Yes,
we have.
yes. Yes, thank you. That's why I also mentioned there is short form and long form according to the traditional grammar. Yeah.
So
So,
Bande,
yes.
in the modern grammar, now I also found, but they are not very common. So they also
Yeah.
have short D in the plural form. So in the Albanese, page 141 mentions that.
Okay. Thank you, Sally. So according to modern grammar also, there can be the short form, but they are not common, right?
Yes.
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 Bante, so can we go back to that translation? So if you say that the Samma refers to the odd and even lines of the previous verses, then how should
Yes.
we connect that to the word Samma? Bante? It's the same.
Yes. Sama, odd and even lines of the previous verses are sama, like we can translate it, we can simply translate it to English as equally. Sangyuta, joined together. Odd and even lines of the previous verses are equally joined together here. So odd line and even line belong to the previous verse, and we take them from the previous verse to this verse, and we equally join them in this verse. So that's it. According to grammar, like in the like if I say grammatically, this is the word. The sentence is like adinang of the previous verses, sama line and asama line, or odd and even lines. Sama, equal, huttva, like having been equal, sangyuta, joined together here. So you have to put huttva after sama according to grammar, sama huttva, but you can just simply translate it as equally joined together, right?
Equally. So if we translate it equally joined together, then it looks like the Samma modifies the word Sangyukta.
Sama modifies the word sangyuta. Sama, huttva, sangyuta. Equally joined together. Yeah. If we translate like that, yeah, that's what I said. We can simply translate it. It is a simple translation. It's not a grammatical translation. It's for understanding, equally joined together. But according to grammar, sama of the previous verse, the odd and even lines of the previous verse are sama. They become equal here also. So sama is like in a position with sama. Odd and even lines of the previous verse. That the subject sama huttva, being equal, they become equal here. And then being equal doesn't mean sama line and visama line are same. They are different, but they become equal, like they become as same as they were in the previous verses. Like sama line of the previous verse are equal here. Sama line of the previous line previous verse is as same as the previous verse. That's what we mean as being equal. And a Visama line of the previous verse is as same as in the previous verse. So that's what we mean by being equal. So samahutva, being equal, samahutva, that's a complement. Samahutva, then sangyuta, join together in this verse. So what about that?
Okay, Bante. So which means somehow we have to connect the word atara to the word tongue at the end, right, Bante?
Atra, sama atra. Atra at the, oh sorry, I couldn't use the word atra.
Somehow connect the word atara in the first line to the word tongue in the second line. Because tongue refers to this verse, the verse that we're talking about. It is in the Pavattaka. But because as you said, Bante, the sama in the first line will refers to the two previous verses, not this word. So somehow we have to connect the word tongue to the word atara.
No. We cannot connect like that. I missed atra. I should have used the word atra also. We can connect atra just at sama or sangyuta.
Okay.
In this verse they become equal, or in this verse they are joined together. Like sama line and the visama line of the previous verses are joined together in this verse. So atra should be connected as at sangyuta, or actually at sama also we can connect it.
Okay, thank you, Bante. Sorry.
Okay, so is that clear now?
Yeah, Bante.
Yeah, okay, then it's okay. So are there any more questions? No, right? Then let's go to the today's lesson. It's we finished Vetaliya section, and now we have the last section of the Mattavutti chapter, the second chapter. Last section of the second chapter. It is Matta Samaka Jati. Matta Samaka Jati. So I will show you where we are now. So here is the Vuttodaya text. So we are in the second chapter, Mattavutti Niddesa. And in that second chapter, we finished Ariya Jati, right? Ariya Jati is the first section of the second chapter. We finished it. And then we finished Giti Jati also. There were only 4 verses. We finished the second section. And last week, we finished Vetaliya Jati. That was the third section of the second chapter. So now we are going to the fourth section and the last section of the second chapter, that is Matta Samaka Jati. Matta Samaka Jati, that's the last section. So there are 7 verses in the Matta Samaka Jati, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 verses, and there is an extra verse, 45th verse. That's an extra verse, and it's about a calculation. So altogether there are 8 verses. So the names of the verses in the Matta Samaka Jati are, first one is Achaladhiti. Achaladhiti is the first verse, and the second one is Matta Samaka. So in the Matta Samaka Jati there is a verse called Matta Samaka, and the third verse is Visiloka, and the fourth verse is Vanavasika, fifth verse is Chitra, sixth one is Upachitra, and the 7th one is Padakulaka. So those are the 7 verses of Matta Samaka Jati, which we are going to learn today. So here is the book we are referring to, Matta Samaka Jati, the Matta Samaka group. Introduction to Matta Samaka meters. You can read this by yourself, but something which is important is that they all have the same matta count, 16 in each of the lines. That means in matta samaka jati, every verse, every line of every verse has 16 measures. That should be kept in mind. There are only 16 measures in every line of this group, which is called as matta samaka. And another thing to keep in mind, actually we will learn this further. Another thing is that pada kulaka, that's the last verse of matta samaka jati, the 7th verse, pada kulaka. So pada kulaka is a verse that is made up of a mixture of the above meters. So that is pada kulaka is a mixture of all the verses in matta samaka jati. So let's go to the first verse in the matta samaka jati, that is achala dhiti. Achala dhiti. Dvika vihata vasu lahu rachala dhiti riha. Dvika vihata vasu lahu rachala dhiti riha. Can someone recite it? Any volunteer? Dvika vihata vasu lahu rachala dhiti riha.
Yeah, I'll try something.
Okay, sure.
Dvika vihata vasularu drachala diti riha.
Okay, very nice. So that is so something to understand here is that about these dashes. So these dashes are shown here to just to denote that there is a sandhi here. This is not a line break or something. This is just to denote that there is a sandhi. The R is inserted. R is inserted. The name of the verse is achala dhiti. Achala dhiti. So before this R, one R is inserted, and that is what these dashes are showing. So the meaning of this verse is here. Achala dhiti has 8 light syllables multiplied by 2. Here achala dhiti has 8 light syllables multiplied by 2. That means in this achala dhiti, here means in this matta samaka group. In this matta samaka group, achala dhiti, the verse which is called as achala dhiti has 8 light syllables multiplied by 2. That means 8 multiplied by 2 is 16, right? So 8 light syllables multiplied by 2 means there are 16 light syllables in one line. In one line of this verse, there are 16 light syllables. So here only one line is shown as the rule, as the sutra. In the sutra, only one line is shown. So we have to repeat this line 4 times to complete the verse. So there are 16 line, there are 4 lines, 16 measures in each. There are 4 lines, 16 measures in each. So altogether there are 64 measures in the achala dhiti verse. So let's check it word by word. Dvika is translated as first we have to separate it. Dvika vihata vasu lahu. Dvika is one word, vihata is another word, vasu another word, lahu another word. Dvika vihata vasu lahu. R has no meaning. It's an inserted, like we call it euphonic, right? Euphonic letter. So it is inserted and it has no meaning. Achala dhiti, and here also R is an euphonic letter. It has no meaning. Iha. So iha. So first let's take iha. Iha means here, right? Iha and idha. Idha is also there. Idha or iha means here. So here refers to matta samaka group. Here in this matta samaka group, achala dhiti is dvika vihata vasu lahu. Achala dhiti is the verse which has dvika vihata vasu lahu. Dvika means twofold, translated as twofold. So it is dvinnang samuho dvikang, right? Dvinnang samuho dvikang. That means The collection of two is called as dvika. The collection of two. The collection of two means two, because the collection of two things, when you collect two things, there are only two. So dvika means twofold, or just two, or twice. We can translate it as twice also. Vihata means something which is multiplied. Something which is multiplied. Actually, I haven't seen the verb of the verb form of vihata. It is something should be it should be something like viharati, but I haven't ever seen that word in the meaning of multiplication. So however, the word vihata has the meaning of multiplied. So dvika vihata means multiplied by two. Multiplied by two. Vasu means 8. This is a bhuta sankhya we learned at the beginning. We use words or nouns or names instead of numbers. So here Vasu denotes the number 8. Vasu denotes number 8, and according to Bhante's explanation here, Vasu. There is Vasu. Yeah, here. Vasu, a class of Deva of which there are 8. Like Bhante takes it as, actually he's, as for my understanding, he's referring to Sanskrit explanation. So I also prefer this translation, a class of Deva of which there are 8. So Vasu is a class of Deva. It's the name of that class of Devas, Vasu, and there are 8 Devas in that class. So it can be, it should be the proper interpretation of the word Vasu. But in our tradition, we take this as Vasu is a synonym for Ratana, gems, or very valuable things. And then there are 8 types of valuable things, like Satta Ratana. We frequently meet the word Satta Ratana in our texts. So there are 7 types of gems, and then we add one more Ratana, that is the Sajivi Ratana, or the Ratana which has life, that is Lord Buddha. So we add that Ratana to those 7, and there are 8 Ratanas, so 8 gems in the world. So that is the translation given in the Burmese traditional books. So it is also correct, because we are now in our tradition, because Vuttodaya is something included in our tradition. So we can interpret like that also. However, the Sanskrit, however, I prefer the Sanskrit interpretation. So Vasu, however, denotes the number 8. So Dvika Vihata Vasu means 8 multiplied by 2. That means 16. Lahu means short or light measures. So Dvika Vihata Vasu Lahu means 8 Lahu measures, 8 light measures multiplied by 2. That means 16 Lahu measures, 16 light measures, right? So there are 16 light measures in each line of the verse Achaladhiti. So that is the meaning of this this rule. So let's check it for the for the rules. Dvi is 1 light measure. Dvi is 1 light measure. We talked about this. Actually, there are grammatically there are 2 measures. Grammatically there are 2 measures, because in every consonant without vowels there is a half measure. So here there are 2 consonants. So half plus half, there is 1 measure, and when we add that 1 measure with this 1 measure E, because we know there is 1 measure in E. So if you add add that 1 measure with this 1 measure, there are 2 measures in this syllable Dvi, but still we consider it as a light syllable, light measure, because it ends with it ends with a short vowel. So still this is a short or light measure. Dvi is a light measure. It's not a heavy measure. But if there was another vowel before D, then we take this D to that side and we consider the short vowel preceding D as a heavy vowel. So this is a light measure. Dwi, that's the first light measure. K, light. Vi, light. H, light. T, light. You see, Va also light. Su, light. Le, light. Hu, light. Ra also light. Cha, light. La, light. Di, light. Ri, Ti also light. Ri, H, light measure. So all of the measures, all the measures in this verse are light. So if you count all these light measures, there are 16 light measures. So you have to repeat this line 4 times and then Achaladhiti verse will be there. Is
Sorry,
that clear
Bante.
for you? Yes.
Bante, in the week we have to learn the ending. The ending we always consider the heavy syllable, but here we call the light syllable. For
Yes.
why?
Yeah, that is a very good question. Thank you for that question. Yeah, of course, we most of the times we consider the ending syllable as a heavy syllable, right? That is a rule. But we also learned that that is not always. That is at the most of the times. But there are exceptional places, because if you go to that Pāļi verse and check again, there is a word like va, padanto va is there, vi and long a va. So padanto va is there. So that means padanta, or the ending syllable of the line, is sometimes or at the most like most of the times considered as heavy or long, not always. That's why va is there. So there are some exceptional places. So this is one of them, and I will show Bante Ananda Jyoti's idea also here in this first paragraph. You see second line. This is at the end of the second line. This is one of the very few meters which is defined as ending in a light syllable. You see, this is one of the very few meters, yeah, which is defined as ending in a light syllable. So most of the times we consider the ending syllable as heavy, but in some cases, in some verses, we consider them as light syllables. So this is one of them. Okay, is that clear?
Yes. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Clear for me.
So Bande.
Yes.
So here, like the ra is inserted. So how can we know what kind of the consonant we have to insert when we compose a gatha?
What kind of letter we can insert when you compose a gatha?
Yes.
That's a good question. Actually, grammatically, there are places defined, clearly defined, for inserting letters. Like I'm sure you know the rule Yava Madana Tarala Chagama. So you insert ya, va, ma, the, na, ta, ra, and la letters where they should be inserted. So you insert those letters in appropriate places. So in grammar there are rules. So we have to learn the grammatical rules when you insert the insert the letters. Like for an example, puna agamo. Let's say puna and agamo. Puna, word puna is there, and then the second word is agamo, like coming again. Puna agamo. So there is a grammatical rule. There is a grammar rule that after the word puna, if there is a vowel, following puna, then the consonant ra or ra should be inserted, like punaragamo. So that is an example. So there are such rules. So you can use those rules. You can learn those rules under the rule Yavamadana Taralachagama. You can refer to Rupa Siddhi or somewhere. And in modern grammar texts also, they should be actually explained. You will find them. So you can study those rules and then insert letters. So here actually this is not Dika Vihata Vasu Lahu Achaladhiti. This is not a clearly defined place to insert R. This is not a clearly defined place to insert R. So, and also in the second place also, Achaladhiti Iha, in that place also, R is not clearly defined to be inserted, because after Achaladhiti or before Iha. So such an definition, such an explanation is not there in the grammatical texts. But like what I wanted to say is that you can learn the common rules about inserting letters using the sutta or the rule Yavamadana Taralachagama. Under that is explained, that is shown. So here what I wanted to say again is that here this is not a place presented there, but is still this R is inserted. So I am actually not aware of the reason of inserting R without inserting another consonant. So actually in the Burmese book, R is not there in this place. That is another thing to know. In the Burmese text, R is not there. In the Burmese text, what we studied. So other different texts also can be there. However, R was not there. But here, this R was there in the Burmese text. So, however, if you want to confirm and insert the letters where appropriate, then it is better to first study about the rules of inserting consonants here and there, right?
So Bante, so for
Yes.
so does that mean that we have to know? I think we have to know Sanskrit, because according to the example you gave, the punaraga mo, then because the word puna in Sanskrit is punar, so
Yes.
so that means we have to add the R according to that. So and then so you said that in Burmese book there is no first R. Then what is it there, Bante, in the Burmese book?
There is nothing there. That is not a sandhi in the Burmese book. There are two words. Jika vihata vasulahu achala ditiriha. R is not there. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, your suggestion is very good, because if we learn Sanskrit, then we can easily understand where to insert those books. And also in our traditional grammar texts, they also have referred. It's obvious that they also have referred Sanskrit to form those rules. Like for an example, I will say you something like when the places in the Rupa Siddhi, in the place where Rupa Siddhi mentions about the places to insert R, it says that Rakaragamo ni du patu puna dhi pata chaturadito. So that is how Rupa Siddhi says that, mention that. So all those words the Rupa Siddhi mentions all those words are not all actually. Most of those words are ending with R. Like chatu also. Let's say chatu. Chatu, as Dr. Ryan mentioned, chatu in Sanskrit it is chatur. In Pāli it is chatu, 4, but number 4, chatu. In Sanskrit it is chatur. So when you combine chatu with another word which begins with a vowel, then you have to put R in the middle, like chatu arakha, chaturarakha, chatu anga, chaturanga, chatu iddhipada, chaturiddhipada, like that. So puna is also very good example. And ni is another example. In Sanskrit, it is nir, nir, N-I-R. As for my knowledge, I haven't learned Sanskrit a lot. So in Sanskrit, it is nir. So ni, when you combine ni with another word like ni ayaso, ni and ayaso, it becomes nirayaso. R is inserted. Ni ayaso, nirayaso. So it is very nice if you can. It is very good if you can learn Sanskrit. So then you can, but that is not a small task. It will take a lot of time. But however, we all accept that to become talented or become competent in Pāli, you also have to study Sanskrit. Otherwise, your Pāli knowledge is not complete. So it's a good suggestion. Yeah.
Yeah, hi Bhante. So
Yes.
so here we have this verse is in the verse form. So I wonder how can we put it in the prose form, Bhante? Because according to the translation, it says it has the word has. 8 lies.
That is because it is a bahubhi samasa, right? Vika vihata vasulahu is bahubhi samasa. Or tadita, asati tadita. Something which has vika vihata vasulahu.
Okay. And then,
Okay.
then if we write out that bahubhi samasa, then how should we, what case should we put for the word dvika, Bhante? Because it's multiplied by.
Like it's tatiya, right? Instrumental case. Dvikena vihata, dvika vihata. By, multiplied by 2. Yeah, multiplied by 2. Dvikena vihata, dvika vihata. And then dvika vihatang, dvik vasu lahu. Lahu is masculine, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then dvika vihato vasu lahu. Yasati dvika vihata vasu lahu.
So Bhante, in Pāli, when we say multiplied by, we also use instrumental, Bhante?
Yes, of course. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Bhante.
Okay. Then let's go to the next verse. It is Matta Samaka. Matta Samakang Navamol Gante. Matta Samakang Navamol Gante. Meaning is Matta Samaka has a light syllable as the 9th measure and a heavy syllable at the end. So this doesn't say that there should be all light syllables. That is the rule for the previous verse. And this also doesn't mention that there should be 16 measures in the verse. But we have to know that in every verse in this group there are only 16 measures. That's something to keep in mind priorly. So that is what Matta Samaka group is. So here in this verse, the rule is that there should be only 16 measures in this verse. That's the first rule. But as I said, that rule is not mentioned in this verse and also in the previous verse. In the previous verse, the number 16 was there, but that doesn't mean, that doesn't clearly mention that every verse in this group should be with 16 measures. But that's something we should know priorly. There can only be 16 measures in every line in this group. So the first rule is that there should be 16 measures, and within those 16 measures, the 9th measure, number 9, 9th measure should be a light syllable, and the ending letter should be a heavy syllable. That's all. That's the rule. Those are the rules. So let's go and check it word by word. Matta Samakang. Matta Samaka is the name of the verse. Matta Samakang. It is named as Matta Samaka when the conditions are Navamol Gante. Navamol means Navamo, the 9th measure. Navamo, 9th measure is Il means Lahu, right? We use L instead of Lahu. So Il means Lahu. 9th measure should be Lahu. Gante, ga ante, or G, ug ante, like G consonant also we can take G consonant and then ante, that means like something like ug ante or G ante. So, or we can take this as ga and ante, joined, then ga ante, garu should be at the end. So that is the meaning, and let's check it for the rules. Matta samaka namu ninth measure should be a light measure. So mat 2 measures, right? Mat 2 measures, ta 2 measures, 4 measures gone, and then sa is the fifth measure, ma 6th measure, kang 8 measures, right? 8 measures are gone. Na is the 9th measure. So 9th measure, you see, 9th measure is a light measure. So that's why we say it as 9th measure should be a light measure. You see, kang is a heavy measure, mang is a heavy measure, but now more. Kang is a heavy measure, and there are other heavy measures also. Mat is a heavy measure, tha is a heavy measure, but here 9th measure has been a light measure. So that was the rule. And the second other rule is that the ending measure should be a heavy measure. So that is also has been heavy here. And if you count all the measures in this verse, there should be 16 measures, not 16 syllables, but 16 measures. So is that clear for you?
Yes, but I have a question. So
Yes.
here it says at the end, it has to be a heavy syllable. So this have to be heavy, or can it be the antagaru, Bante?
Ending one, right?
Yes, yes. So can it be a light syllable and we take it as the heavy?
Yes. It can be a light syllable, and we can consider it as a heavy. That's
So
the normal
technically,
way
what
of.
it means is that for this verse, we can have 15.
No. Sorry.
measures, right, Bante?
Then what will happen is that there will be. Yeah. Please ask your question. I was confused with another thing.
Yeah. So the question is, that means technically it can have only 15 measures, but because the last one we take as the heavy, so it becomes 16.
15, and last one we take as like apart from the last one, there are 15.
No, but
And
so
then
everything is 15, but because so the last one is lahu, but because this we take it's the antagaru, so it becomes 16.
yes.
Oh, okay.
That can be correct.
Okay, thank you, Bante.
Okay, I'm actually not very sure about that, but that is the normal way of Vuttodaya, right? When we consider the last one as a heavy syllable, then we count it as having 2 measures. So that's the normal way of Vuttodaya.
Yes,
So that can be correct. Yeah. So are there any other questions? Okay, then let's go to the next verse. It is Visiloka. John, like Jo La, or we can pronounce it as John La, because at the beginning of a conjunct we pronounce O and A as light syllables. So we can pronounce it as John La. John La Thavanava Visiloko. John La Thavanava Visiloko. So that is the Visiloka verse. So Visiloko, let's first read the meaning. Or if there is a Jagana or a Nagana and a light syllable, after 4 measures, it is Visiloka. So that is a meaning in this verse, which is called as Visiloka. There should be a Jagana or a Nagana with a light syllable, Jagana or a Nagana with a light syllable after 4 measures. That means in the beginning there should be 4 measures, and after those 4 measures there should be Jagana O, a Nagana and a light syllable. So that is the rule here. So let's check for the meanings of the words. Visiloko is the name of this verse. Visiloko, that is named as Visiloka. In which conditions? Jo, Jagana. Jo means Jagana, right? Nla means Nagana and Lahu. Nagana and Lahu. La, right? N stands for Nagana. L stands for Lahu. So Nagana and Lahu. Athava means O. O. Athava O. So that means Jo Athava La. Jagana O Nagana and Lahu. Right? Jo Athava here. Athava. Jo Athava La. That means Jagana O Nagana and Lahu. Jagana O Nagana and Lahu. Right? Jo Athava La. Where should be Jo Athava La. Where should be Jagana O Nagana and Lahu. Annava. Annava means we already know. We already have learned this word. Annava means ocean. So there are 4 oceans in our text. So we consider Annava as denoting number 4. So after 4 measures, right? After 4 measures, Annava, after 4 measures, there should be Jagana or Nagana with Lahu. There can be Jagana. So if there is not Jagana, there should be Nagana with the Lahu. So that is the meaning of each word. And let's check for the rules. Jo, Jon La. There are 4 measures, right? Jon La, 4 measures. Jon, 2 measures. La, 2 measures. So there are 4 measures. This is the Annava ocean, 4 measures. So after this Annava, after this Annava, or after this ocean, or in other words, after these 4 measures, there should be a Jagana or Nagana with the Lahu. So here we can observe Tha, Van, Na is a Jagana, right? Tha, Lahu, Van, Garu, Na, Lahu. So this is a Jagana after the 4 measures. And then the rest, it's not need to be checked. So all together, there should be 16 measures. Altogether, there should be 16 measures. That's the common rule of the Matthasamaka verses. And within those 16 measures, after the first 4 measures, there should be a Jagana. Or if here the Jagana was not there, then there should be Nagana with the Lahu. Like 4 light syllables and another light syllable. So that's it. Is that clear?
Hi, Pante. So
Yes.
if that's the case, then I mean for Jagana we have 4 measures, and then Nagana and light syllables is 5 measures. So they are not the same. So how can it become 16 measures as a total, Pante?
That is not a problem for becoming 16 measures, right? Because we can reduce 1 light syllable after. Yeah.
I see. Got it.
Okay. So that is so I have to say something about that question. It's good because you asked that question. What is that? Bhante Anand Jyoti considers Nagana here as having 3 syllables. The characteristic of this measure is that it has a Jagana or with resolution, a Nagana and a light syllable in the second bar. So here that's it. This is an unexpected description. This is an unexpected description because, as it's stated in verse 6, in the Matta Chandas meters, Nagana is usually equal to 4 light syllables. So Nagana is equals to 4 light syllables. We know that, and here it is an unexpected description. He says that here an unexpected description is given as what I understand is that he considers, Bhante Ananda Jyoti considers considers that Nagana here has only 3 syllables and then 1 Lahu is added. So altogether there are 4 syllables as Dr. Ryan mentioned. So that is what Bhante Ananda Jyoti considers, but in our traditional way, we do not consider like that. We consider here also, we consider that Nagana has 4 light syllables and another light syllable is there after Nagana. So that's not a problem for the measure count of the verse.
So Bhante, so according to the Venerable Ananda Jyoti, then so the Nagana and the light syllable here is basically just the Nagana. And then after that, it can be a heavy syllable, right, Bhante?
Yes.
But
yes.
then if that's the case, that it's not according to the Myanmar tradition then.
Yeah, that is not in accordance with the Myanmar tradition. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Bhante.
Okay. So there are no examples to examine for these verses. So that's a problem. You can compose some verses by yourself as examples for these verses. So next verse is Vanavasika. Tadvayato Vanavasikakhya. Tadvayato Vanavasikakhya. After twice that, it is named as, its name is Vanavasika. After twice that, its name is Vanavasika. So its name is Vanavasika. This verse is named as Vanavasika. When is that word? When is that named as Vanavasika? After twice that. After twice that means in the previous verse we said that after 4 measures, the Jagana or Nagana with the Lahu should be there. So in this measure, we have the text is saying to multiply that by 2, like after twice that. So what should be multiplied? The beginning 4 should be multiplied, or in other words, Annava should be multiplied. The ocean should be multiplied by 2. There are 2 oceans. That means there are 8 measures at the beginning. There should be 8 measures at the beginning, and after those 8 measures, the same condition as it is mentioned in the previous verse should be there. Condition is that Jagana should be there, or Nagana with the Lahu should be there. So that is the verse Vanavasika. So let's check it word by word. Vanavasika kya, Vanavasika akhya, Vanavasika akhya. So Vanavasika akhya, according to the traditional translation, Vanavasika iti akhya. Vanavasika iti akhya. Akhya means something which is named. So Vanavasika iti akhya means it is named as Vanavasika. And we can also consider this as a samasa compound, because akhya is another word for auha or nama, name. So Vanavasika akhya, Vanavasika akhya yassa. So Vanavasika akhya, the name which is called as Vanavasika belongs to which, that is called as Vanavasika akhya. So that is for the advanced learners. It can be also considered as a samasa Vanavasika akhya. However, the word should be disjoined or separated as Vanavasika and akhya. Vanavasika akhya. Tadvayato, ta and dvaya. To is suffix in the meaning of Panchami Vibhatti. So Tadvayato means ta of that, dvaya 2. After 2 of that, those conditions should be there. So conditions are not directly mentioned here. We should draw those conditions in the previous verse to this verse. So the full sentence should be like Tadvayato jo nla athavan nava. Sorry. Tadvayato jo nla athava. Tadvayato, after 2 of that means after 8 measures, there should be jo jagana o athava nla nagana and lahu. So that's the sentence when we draw those words to here. So let's check for the rules here. Tad 2 measures, va 3, ya 4, to 7, va 9. No, that's wrong. Tad, va, ya, to, 6, right? Tad, 2, va, 3, ja, 4, to, 6. 6 measures here. Va, 8 measures, right? Tadvayato va. Here ends the 8 measures, and then there should be a jagana or nagana with the lahu. So let's check it. Na va si is a jagana, right? Na lahu va garu si lahu. So that's a jagana. So this is the rule which can be observed here. So after 8 measures, there is a jagana. So if this jagana was not there, then there should be a nagana with the lahu. So that's the condition. Those are the conditions here. And if you count all the measures in this line, there also should be 16 measures. So is that clear for you? Yeah, no questions, right? Okay, that is Vanavasika verse, and then we are going to the Chitra verse. What is Chitra? Panchatta navasu yadi lo chitra. Panchatta navasu yadi lo chitra. That's the Chitra verse. Panchatta navasu yadi lo chitra. If in the 5th, 8th, and 9th measure there is a light syllable, it is Chitra. That's very easy. In Chitra verse, 5th, 8th, and 9th measure should be a light syllable. That's the condition. So there should be 16 measures in the line, in the whole line, and within those 16 measures, 5th measure, 8th measure, and the 9th measure should be light measures. So that's it. Panchatta navasu yadi lo chitra. Chitra is the name of this verse. If panchatta navasu, 5th, 8th, 9th places, panchatta navasu. In the 5th, 8th, and 9th places, yadi lo, if lahu is there. Yadi means if, right? If lo bhavati, lo yadi bhavati, lahu, if lahu is there, lo yadi bhavati, if lahu is there, then it is called as Chitra. So let's check it. Pan, 2 measures, chat, 2 measures. Tha is the 5th measure, right? Tha is the 5th measure, and that is the lahu measure. And then 8th measure, 5, and then 6, 7, 8. You see, 8th measure is also a lahu measure, and then 9th measure should be also a lahu measure. Here you can see ya is lahu. So 5th, 8th, and 9th measure should be lahu, light. So that is the condition here. Is that clear for you? Very clear, right? So that is Chitra, and then we are going to Upachitra. Upachitra. Galyathahi chesa Upachitra. Galyathahi chesa Upachitra. Meaning is that if there is a heavy syllable, a light syllable, and yagana after 8 measures, that is Upachitra. So condition is that after 8 measures, there should be a heavy syllable, a light syllable, and a yagana. In order, not light syllable, heavy syllable, yagana, but heavy syllable, light syllable, yagana. In order, there should be heavy syllable, light syllable, and yagana after 8 measures. So that's the rule here. So galyathahi chesa upachitra. Va is also an euphonic consonant here. It is inserted. V is inserted. Upachitra is the name. So upachitra, it's called as upachitra when galyathahi, galya, you see, garu lahu yagana. Galya means garu lahu yagana. Ga is for garu, L is for lahu, ya is for yagana. So garu lahu yagana should be there where attahi after 8. Attahi after 8. This is also Panchami Vibhakti ablative case. Attahi after 8 measures, there should be garu lahu and yagana. Che, if che like che bhavanti yadi, che bhavanti, if there are garu lahu and yagana after 8 syllables, then sa, that verse is called as Upachitra. So yeah, that's it. So let's check it. after eight measures, right? Gal, here 2 measures, ya 2 measures, t 5, he 6, che 8, right? Here 8 measures end. And then after 8 measures, there should be garu, lahu, and yagana. Sa is the garu, vu is the lahu, and then pa chitra, lahu, garu, that is the yagana. So garu, lahu, yagana is there after 8 measures, that is upachitra verse. Is that clear for you?
Sorry, Bande.
Yes.
Can we consider only the chagana after eight measures? We no need to consider the heavy syllable and light syllable and chagana. We just consider chaganas after 8 measures. Is it can or not?
Can we consider after 8 measures? Can we consider as
Only
having only jagana?
Yes, chagana, because the chagana we have the 2, 1, 1, right?
2, 1, 1 is bhagana, right? It is bhagana.
Yeah.
Bhagana. Yeah, yes. You are saying that can we say that after 8 syllables there is a bhagana and a
Yes.
bhagana and
Bhagana and chagana.
bhagana and jagana. Yeah, let's check. If we say I like that, then yeah, as you say, sa is 2, wu is, the problem is that if you consider v as 1 and u as 1, then you are right.
Yes.
Sa vi u, like 2, 1, 1, right? Then there is a yagana. So we can say that there is bhagana and yagana. But the problem is that we cannot consider v as 1 and u as 1, because this is a sandhi, right? This is a combination. Wu, we should take wu as 1 syllable, 1 measure, right?
Yes, but another case when we read in the text in the Gatha, if they have the bhagana or chagana, we have the 2, 1, 1 or 2, 1, 2, like
Yes.
that.
Yes,
We have to consider upachita, right?
Upachitrara. Yes.
If consider like that, is correct or not, Bante?
So your question is, I will ask it again to confirm it. So your question is that can in the verse it say that there should be garu, lahu, and then yagana after 8 measures. That's what it is. That's what said there. So can we just say that there should be bhagana and yagana after 8 syllables, 8 measures? Can we say that? Is that your question?
Yes, Bante. This is my quick question.
Yeah, we can say that if there was one more vowel here after V, right? If there was one more vowel here after V, then here is 2, sa is 2, and va, something with a vowel here is 1, and u here is 1, right? Then it is a bhagana. You are correct. But the problem is that here there is not a vowel after V. So we should add this V with U, right? So this is 1 syllable, V and U 1 syllable. V and U 1 syllable. This dash is to show that there is a combination, sandhi. But still V and U are 1 syllable. So we should consider V and U as 1 measure. So here there are 2, 1. Only 2 and 1 is there, and another one is not there, right? Can you see that? 2, 1. Sa is 2 and Wu is 1. 2, 1. Okay, so that is not bhagana. Is that clear for you?
Yes.
So that is why we cannot say that there should be bhagana and a yagana. We can only say there should be yagana and a lahu. So because the reason is that, so your question is very good, but the reason is that here V is not a separate measure. It should be considered as a 1 measure after adding joining with U. This is 1 measure, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the case.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, then let's go to the next verse.
Excuse me, Bante.
Yes, yes,
May I have a question?
of course.
I'm sorry. I am not clear that here in the Matta Vutti we have the five gana, excluding the three gana with the five measure. But here
Yes.
the Shagana with the five measure include in the Matta Vutti.
Yes. Yes,
So,
that is also a very good question. That is also a very good question, because we learned that in a verse as Bhajasa Sabba Galahu Panchime Santita Gana, that is the verse, you can recheck it. Bhajasa Sabba Galahu Bhagana Jagana Sagana Bhajasa and Sabba Galahu Magana and Nagana. So Bhajasa Mana. All those 5 groups are there in the Matta Vutti. And Yagana, Ragana, and Thagana are excluded. So that's what we learned as a rule. So so why can there be a Yagana in this verse? Because this is also included in Matta Vutti. So can we use Yagana? So that's the question. So actually we can use, because we also learned in that verse that is the usual or general, that is a general rule. Like it's the mostly used rule, but still we can observe some we can also observe in some verses that Ragana and Yagana is there. So here this is an example for that exception. Here in this verse Yagana is used. So this is a proof therefore the word, this is a proof to say that Yagana is also used in Matta Vutti. So that rule is ye bhuya, or that's the most used rule. That's not there in every verse, right?
yes, thank you.
Yeah, in Vetaliya verses actually we observed Bhagana also. We observed Bhagana also in Vetaliya verses. So Bhagana also, sorry, Bhagana, not Bhagana, Ragana also. Ralaga, right? Ralaga, we observe Ragana also. So Ragana and Yagana also can be observed in these verses, but we did not observe Thagana in any verse.
Yeah,
We did
I
not
can
observe
see.
Thagana. Yes.
Yeah, I guess that is very relative, Bante, because so it's constrained. It has this constraint because according to the venerable, I think it's Sangha Sangharatana. Yes. So because he has to put the rule and the example in the same verse. So that's why he do it this way. Because otherwise, according to this Upachitra, we can say that the rule is not Garu Lahu Jagana, but we can say that is in fact the Jagana and then Lahu Garu. We can say it that way too, right, Bante? It's just because he has to put the verse in this way. So he has to use the Gal Ya. So he has to put it that way. So that's why he said that the rule has to be Garu Lahu Yagana.
Yeah, he has put Garu Lahu Yagana, and he hasn't said Bhagana and
otherwise,
Lahu
otherwise
Garu,
we can
sorry,
say
Garu
that.
Lahu.
Yeah, because otherwise we can say this the Bhagana and then Lahu
Garu, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So what do you see as the reason?
So I mean, because according to the question of Sajaleya Senda, she said that why are we using Yagana in this case? But if we put it that way, then we're not using Yagana. In fact, we're using Bhagana.
Yes.
So yeah. So my comment is that it is just relative, but it's not like exact rules. It is just the way, because he has to put it in this way. It has to be in that form, so that he the verse it has to be the example as well.
Yes. That is a very good argument.
Bante, can we see in the profile? In the here,
Yes.
here, right? Profile. We have the garu, lahu. In the after a syllable. That's it. Why I also be quieter.
Yeah, very good. You observed it. Yeah, there is a bhagana, right? Bhagana
Yes.
and garu. Bhagana garu as shown by Bhante Anand Jyoti also. Yeah. It can simply say that there should be Bhagana and garu. Why did he mention like this? That is a problem. Yeah, that is a good argument. Let's think about that further. I'm also not. No, I also have no idea about that. So really, that's a very good argument. He can just say that there should be a bhagana and garu after 8 syllables, but he has used without any reason, as we cannot see any reason for using like this. But he has mentioned that there should be a where there should be garu, lahu, and then yagana. And then that is there is another problem that he has used yagana, which usually is not used in mattavutti. So that is something we can search in some other books whether there is a reason shown.
Yes, as I said, Bhante, I mean, that is what my understanding is, that it's just because, so they are basically the same according to the rules of the matra, right? So basically,
Yes.
it's not the groups, but what it means is that it has to be garu, lahu, and then lahu, and this the garu, lahu, garu. It should be that way. And then we can combine those matra together to form groups, whatever we want.
Yes.
Ryan, is your explanation can we use 3 group, right?
Can
Yeah,
we
so
go
I mean
three?
the rules should be basically simply be garu, lahu, and then lahu, garu. It should be like that. And then because we have like 5 syllables like that, we can combine whatever we want to make a group, whatever we want. So according to the Vuttodaya, then he combined the last 3 syllables to form a yagana. But if we don't like that way, we can combine the first 3 to form is the bhagana. So I mean, they are just the same.
Yeah, they are just the same.
Yes.
Yes, I agree with Dr. Ryan. You can form like that way. You also can see, the first is the lines one is heavy, and after that is sakana and group is also can form in that group. So that's why. But because I want to follow this upajitra, so that's why the author mentioned like that.
Yeah, so see, he should have said instead of galyat, he should have, he can actually use like something like bhagagatahi, right? Bhagagatahi.
Yes,
It's
yes,
bhagana
Bhante.
garu after
Yes,
H7.
yes, definitely. Yes, Bhante. Yes.
Yes. Okay, so let's go to the next verse. It's the last verse. Pada kulaka. Yam atita lakkana visesa yutang matta samadhi pādābhivamsa aniyata vutta parimāna sahitang pathitang janesu pādā kulakang. So this is just the mixture of the verses we learned in this chapter. The meaning is that verse which has joined together the distinctive characteristics of the lines beginning with matta samaka indicated before, comprised of dissimilar meters, is declared amongst the people to be Pada Kulaka, mixed lines. Pada Akulaka. Pada Akulaka, the verse which has mixed lines. So, so don't worry about that long sentence. Just the meaning is that if you join if you mix the verses, if you mix the lines we learned under the chapter, under the section which is called as Patta Samaka, what we just finished. So if those verses, if those lines are combined together, joined together, mixed together, then that verse should be named as Pādakulaka. Pada means line, Akula means mixed or confused. Akula, confused or mixed. So Pada Akulaka means the verse which has lines mixed, lines confused. So you can observe here Chitra, the first line is Chitra, the second line is Visiloka, third line is Vanavasika, and the fourth line is again Visiloka. So Visiloka, yeah. So there are three verses, lines of three verses joined, combined or mixed here. So to check word by word, I will take 5 to 10 minutes today because we have to finish this section today. So yang atita lakkana visesa yutang, yang which verse? Atita lakkana visesa means atita, the previous, atita, previous, so left behind, previous. Lakkana visesa, special characteristics. Yutang means like together with. So which verse is together with the previous characteristics? Matta samadhi, not actually verse. Matta samadhi pada abhihitang. Matta samadhi, matta sama adi pada abhihitang. Matta sama means the verse we learned as matta sama. So actually there was another verse named as Achaladhiti. So Achaladhiti was the first verse and the matta sama is the second verse. But however, we can take Achaladhiti also because Achaladhiti is also included in this chapter. So then matta samadhi means matta samadhi pada means the lines of the verses beginning with matta sama. So we include Achaladhiti, the first verse also here. So that means the lines of the verses in this matta samaka chapter, matta samadhi pada. So matta samadhi pada abhihita means matta samadhi padehi abhihitang, done or wrote or composed by the lines of matta samadhi, the lines of the verses in this chapter. Aniyata vutta parimana sahitang, aniyata dissimilar, aniyata dissimilar or not defined, aniyata not confirmed, not defined. Here it is also translated as dissimilar. It also can be taken. So aniyata vutta parimana, vutta means meter, parimana means amount or the quantity. So vutta parimana, the quantity of the meter, dissimilar meters, comprised of dissimilar meters. Yeah, aniyata vutta parimana, dissimilar quantity of the meters. Sahitang, sahita means comprised of or with. So with the, in this verse, each line of this verse is not similar. In some lines there can be vutta parimana. In some lines there can be 16 syllables, and in another line there can be 15 syllables. Not measures. Measure amount should be same. Measure amount should be 16 in each line, but syllable amount can be changed. Syllable amount can change. So aniyata vutta parimana sahitang pathitang janesu pada kulakang. Janesu, in people, among people, pada kulakang iti patitang. Patita means something which is famous. Here it is translated as declared, so that's also okay. But in Nigandhu Abhidhana Pradipika, patita is a synonym for pakata, famous. So Janesu, amongst the people, this verse is famous, so declared as Pādakulaka verse. So I'm not going to check this for the rules, but it is shown by Bhante here. This line is from Chitra, This line has Chitra characteristics, and the second line has Visiloka characteristics. Third line has Vanavasika characteristics, and the fourth line again has Visiloka characteristics. So these four are combined together, and then we call it Pada Kulaka. Yeah, is that clear for you? Are there any questions? No questions, right? Then the fourth section of the Vuttodaya Matta Vuttaniddesa is finished, and we can say Matta Vuttaniddesa is almost finished. But yeah, here is an example. You can read it later. So the next and the final verse of this section is calculation. It's about calculation. Vina vannehi matta ga, vina vanna garohitu, vina lahuhi garavo, dale patyadino mata. So this verse is nothing to do with composing verses. Actually, this verse is not very important, but we have to learn this. By this verse, some techniques are given to find the measure count and syllable count, heavy syllable count, heavy measure count, and light measure count of each verse. So there are some techniques are given. So the meaning is that it is considered that beginning with the Ariyapatya, that means beginning with the beginning verse of the whole Matta Vuttaniddesa, beginning with the Ariyapatya was the first verse in Matta Vutti. The measures minus syllables equals to heavy syllables. So in a verse, if you know how many syllables are there in a verse, you know the syllable count, you know the measure count, you know the measure count of a verse, and then also you know the syllable count of a verse. So you have to subtract syllables from measures, and then you will get the number of heavy syllables. Okay, measures minus syllables equals to heavy syllables, and then measures minus heavy syllables equals to syllables. What? Syllables. Yeah. The third one is measures minus light syllables. Howd equals to heavy syllables. I will come to this in the example. So those are the techniques given here. So this verse should be taken as the words of this verse should be given explanation as Vina vannehi matta. So matta measures, vannehi vina subtracted by syllables equals to ga equals to heavy syllables. Matta vannehi vina ga. You can put honti, verb honti. So matta vannehi vina ga. Vina vanna garohitu. Vina vanna garohi. That means this matta should be taken to this line also. Matta measures, matta garohi vina. Matta garohi vina measures minus heavy syllables equals to vanna syllables. And then vina lahohi garavo dale. So Bhante gives a different explanation to this. Like dale is given translation as howd, right? Howd. And then vina lahohi garavo means the measures. Here also subject is measures. Measures minus lahohi. Vina lahohi measures minus light syllables. Dale howd, and that number is howd. Then you will get the number of heavy syllables. So that is what Bhante has said. Patyadino mata. Patyadino of the verses beginning from patya mata. It's known. So here is the example. So we know that there are 57 measures in Ariya Patya verse. So and there are 35 syllables in that verse. So you subtract 35 from 57 and 22, number 22, and that is the number of heavy syllables. So you subtract 22 from sorry, you subtract the number of heavy syllables. Number of heavy syllables are 22. So you subtract 22 from 57, you get 35. That 35 equals to the number of syllables in this verse. And then number of measures, 57. Subtract 13. 13 means the number of sorry,
That means 44.
44, right?
is half of the 44. That means 22. That means
Yeah,
22 heavy syllables.
yeah, there are 22 heavy syllables. So that's what said here. But the Burmese text gives another way for another translation, like vina lahuni garavo. Vina lahuni garavo. That means dale is not concerned with this calculation. Dale just means in portions of the verses, in every portion, like just like in every verse. And this dale is not concerned with the calculation. And here, instead of he, ni should be put, and vina lahuni garavo. Vina lahuni garavo was there in the Burmese book, and calculation was done in another way. It was done in another way. Vina lahuni garavo. It was like from the number of syllables. I cannot actually remember it. From the number of syllables, you have to subtract lahu, number of lahu syllables, and then you get the number of garu syllables. That was what mentioned in the Burmese text. So that is not very important, because you have to change this he to ni, ni. You should take that as the correct form. So however we learned that form, Bhante has given another form. So in the traditional way, there was not something like howd, dale howd. This is a new one for me also. So Burmese traditional way was something different. So however, this is just a way of a technique of calculation, and it is not very important for the composing or examine of the verses. Is there questions? Is there any question?
Yes, Bhante. So could you please
Yes.
go back to that verse, Bhante?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So here, so let's see. So in this Bhante Ananda Jyoti is a delay, and he translated as half. So what case is it, Bhante?
What case?
Yes.
It is locative case, and yeah, dala is masculine gender, and it is locative case. And you have to put kate, considering this as lakhana lakya. I don't know the English word for that. What's it? Absolute? What's it? Lakhana lakya.
Yes. Absolute.
Absolute, right? Yeah. So you have to consider this as absolute. Dale kate. When it is halved.
I see. Okay, and then in so you said in the tradition this lahu ni, not lahu hi.
Yes.
Then lahu ni. So that is in the accusative case, Bhante?
Yes, that is
We have
accusative
vina,
case.
right? So it has to be in the accusative case.
That is accusative case. Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you, Bhante.
Okay. So we finished the second chapter of the Vuttodaya. Iti Vuttodaya chandasi mattavuti niddeso nama dutiyo parichedo. Such is the second chapter in the prosody, the composition of meter, which is called the description of the measure meters. Mattavuti niddeso, description of the measure meters. So here, chandasi, you see chandasi, the word chanda is used for the Vuttodaya, like book, Vuttodaya book, you see, Vuttodaya text or Vuttodaya book. Chanda is because Vuttodaya and Chanda are in same case. So Vuttodaya Chandasi in the Pāļi prosody, which is named as Vuttodaya. So Chanda can be used for prosody, for the book where meters are shown. So here we have finished the second chapter, and we have actually almost finished the most important parts. I mean, time taking parts of Vuttodaya. Other chapters will not take time like this, so we will be able to finish Vuttodaya soon. Yeah, so let's wind up our discussion by reciting Buddha Sasanam Chirang Tiṭṭhatu. Buddha Sasanam Chirang Tiṭṭhatu. Buddha Sasanam Chirang Tiṭṭhatu. Buddha Sasanam Chirang Tiṭṭhatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you all for participating.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you so much, Bante.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
very
much,
much.
Thank you.
Bante.
Okay, you all are welcome.